Welcome to my sort of quick summary full build of the Mandalorian 1 to 12 scale Beskar Armour silver-plated version. There is two versions, and one that comes just with the sort of the Beskar armor that you would have to paint yourself to get the silver, and then one that comes that's essentially pre-finished. I did get the pre-finished version, and that's what this one is. And so that's something that kind of went through, and it was a interesting experience, and have a lot of mixed feelings about it. If you've watched my detail builds, you'll know that that there are some struggles with the way the model comes and the way that the sprue trees are organized. They do have their seams on a lot of the front-facing surfaces of the Beskar, and so even though you've got some nice finished pieces that come on nice sprue trees like this, a lot of which you don't even use, they kind of come, you can see even here, just as an example, where right on the surface of that's going to make a nice divot. And of course the root plastic here, this is just painted, the root plastic is black, and so you can imagine there are a bunch of spots where you have seams that you're going to see. Even on the top here, you can see there was a little spot there, but mine aren't too bad. I did spend a lot of time kind of trying to remedy that through combination of painting. I'm going to do that on all of these here because it's definitely better, and it just bothers me having these little black spots all over. Whereas this, yeah, it's not perfect, but they're not black, at least. They're slightly, they just blend in a little bit better than actually looks pretty good. I'm actually kind of surprised just how good that does look, actually. And using a really awesome product from AK from their new True, or I don't know how new it is, but anyway, the True Metal line. And this actually worked really, really well. One of the new kind of paints that I tried, paint/weathering materials that I tried on the model, where it was this gold color, and the AK gold. And I really, really liked it. And you can see the effects of it here. It's really held up well. And I really just thought it was great. So much so that I went and got some more. And it's to do with, remember the seams that I've been working on the sort of silver-plated Beskar pieces, and the other pieces that might not even be Beskar, just the backpack. And so I'm not sure if that is Beskar or not, but in any case, it's got the same silver, and certainly the Beskar pieces in. And because of the way that it's on the sprue tree, there were these little, little spots that I had tried painting, and that worked a little bit. But what I've been doing actually is using the aluminum version of this, the AK455. I just have a little bit out here again. And I've just been filling in those little gaps, and they were very noticeable on these spots here, and I'm really happy with how that. So it's really areas like this that you can clearly see that it's still not all that I would wish. And as you know, I just have been looking for a way to even make that better. And I'm just going to try this now based on the little bit of experimenting I've been doing. Elsewhere, I feel like I can have a better result here by just laying a little bit of this down and then kind of just smoothing that out. Yeah, and already I can see that I'm liking this a lot better already. Yeah, you can already see that's a pretty significant improvement. I'm actually just so kind of shocked by this material. It actually kind of fills a bit. It's got like some kind of like just a little bit of thickness. You see that? So I'm really happy with how that turned out. You'll notice I did spend a bit of time as well, actually adding just a little bit of dirt to my armor, just on the Beskar pieces, and that also is using an AK weathering pencils and just using them wet and just being able to lay down a little bit of wash on a nice gloss, shiny surface like that. They just work great for that. Definitely get a bit in here on these, especially on these edges. It, you know, would be a spot where it would collect dirt for sure. Love the effect of how that turned out, kind of all over on all of these pieces. They have just little effects here and just little bits of, and it just gives it a little bit of character. I didn't go, you know, terribly overboard. If you actually look on the pictures that come with the model, you can see they do quite a lot more actually, sort of dirt and. So I didn't quite go to that extreme, but similar. You know, I wanted a little bit. I do think that looks kind of nice. I know actually in the show, he actually has pretty shiny armor a lot of the time. There are a few scenes where you can see that, you know, he actually did get a little dirty, and that's actually part of the, I think, the sort of the George Lucas aesthetic, and certainly the original Star Wars and most all of the Star Wars. That he wanted that lived-in look in his universe, and it's generally there, and it is even in most of the Mandalorian. Just his armor is pretty great, but then some of that's because it was just forged and so forth. So this is maybe just a nice little mix there where there's a little bit of dirt. You'll notice I also did use on this particular piece of armor. There it does come with a decal set, and I didn't use much in the way of the Decal set here. I really only used these two pieces, the little belt pieces, these two belt pieces. The rest I did not use. And so all of these parts, I created my own decal. This is stickers, sorry. This is all stickers, which I just was hesitant to use. So I actually did create my own decal sheet and laid that in here as a water slide, which worked really great. I did it a few times, but finally came up with a version that I think just looks excellent. Really thrilled with the effect and how that turned out. So I'm going to just give my next sort of iteration of the right thigh decal another shot here. So I've got a little bit bigger version, so they have lots of room, hopefully, for that to kind of fit on there nicely and have enough overlap. I really do want it to kind of fit nicely over like that. I'm going to bring it in just like that. I'm just looking to see, okay, that's my spot right there, okay. So then bringing it up like that. And then just letting it kind of come down onto those, which is just where we wanted it. You can see, spent a fair bit of time. This is all, so further than that, it's all been painted. And even the silver pieces that, again, were stickers in the original set have all been, my version are all painted. I have a lot of shades of brown and sort of the purpley gray that's the jumpsuit in behind here. And then various shades of gray for the various armors, and the boots are obviously a different color entirely, and then they had their own kind of painted strap. So that's all just a lot of just my own, just mixing colors, and I really enjoy that part of the hobby a lot. And so that's something I spent a bunch of time just doing, and I really enjoyed. Even the gloves, lots of detail there. There's actually lots of different versions of the gloves to hold the various different weapons, and so you can, I've got them all exactly painted for whatever. This is the one for the little pistol, which we'll show you in a second here. Anyway, really happy with all that. I think it turned out really great. And just in general, I think the paint, very happy with the leather effects that I was sort of belt pieces. Now I've already got some of the black that had been added there already, so I'm not just add a little bit more. I really like the texture that we've ended up with here. But that's just adding a little bit of highlighter there, just on that, a couple little spots where it does have a little bit of. And I'm looking kind of at the reference there. The leather material is kind of worn in some areas enough that it gets a little bit of shine. So that's kind of give me that there. And I did use some pastels, of course. That's one of my favorite. And so I did do a little bit of that on certainly on the jumpsuit and even on the boots, which just gives it, I think, a depth to the paint job, and just looks really nice. And then I just sealed that all up with a dull coat, and it's really accurate. I think Sam I'm just looking and developed the color here to really just match that, and I'm just kind of brushing over, definitely not going into the ridges. One of the keys here is that we're keeping it. Any that we're adding is very light, just over the surfaces, keeping the darker color in the crevices, so that it gives it. Again, we're adding a lot of definition. These areas, these wrinkles, were very hard to see earlier, but as I've been laying down just a little bit of that color, you can see that it's starting to really show them off. So in this case, I'm actually kind of working to get it in specifically more on the little crevices and so forth, and not so much just trying to get it to set on top. That's how I'm getting kind of the brown sort of still remaining up in areas like that. I'm not going to go there, and just kind of more focused in these kinds of areas. So you can see how that's coming along there now, and it's giving me just a lot more of a dynamic look. So the crevices are getting actually a little bit darker. And then at the higher points, I still have even the lighter color. And so it's, I think, came to really good effect. I think those boots, you can see the little kind of just the black leather worn sort of oil look on those boots, I think, which is pretty authentic to the show, and then on the jumpsuit as well. Just that multiple shades of brown, and in the right kind of lights, it really does look like the color from the show. So I thought that worked well, and even just the belts and its various pieces, I think the colors came out well. I did all the painting on all the little delicate silver pieces, little bullets there. So that was lots of fun getting out pretty fine paintbrushes for that work as well. But I think it turned out great. Really happy with all of the. This piece is actually the opposite. This was a silver piece, and I had to paint the sort of the band there, but all worked out well, I think. A bunch of and I spent a bunch of time on the visor as well, just clear coating that and polishing it to a nice shine. I don't know how well it's actually showing up for you there, but it turned out really nice. It's, again, pretty authentic, and it withstands. It's real clear coat now, so I think the plastic that it comes with is okay and has a little bit of shine to start with, but it doesn't hold up well to even just a little bit of just regular finger oil. It completely dulls down right away, so I knew that I needed to do something just because I wanted it to be just a little bit more robust, and I think that worked out. We don't need a lot of this, you just need a little bit. And we'll just see if we can get even just a little bit more shine out of that. although it's looking pretty much where we want it to be, but the amount of time it takes here to just... And I'm not applying a ton of pressure here either, so I mean there's not much risk in getting, you know, burning through the clear coat here. I think we're fine. If that did happen, I mean it's been a risk. Certainly the sandpaper was the biggest risk, but with these polishes at this level, especially the finishing one, I mean it's just barely any cut here. And so not too worried at this point about that. If it did happen, we'd suddenly see a dull spot, and we'd just start from scratch, you know, just relay down the clear coat if we did burn. And then I spent time as well on the weapons, lots of time, developed his disintegrator rifle, and you can see there's a lot of different colors and details here, including more of that AK gold, metallic there, sort of that I used on the sort of bands that hold the scope in place, and multiple shades of brown. This is even the wood brown here, and just various different pieces. I'm really happy with that. I think it is quite nice to look at, and they really show well in photos and just with him. I like to put it, of course he's got a back mount that it can be mounted on. I'll show you that in the photos here maybe at the end of this video. Some of the looks that you can do with that, and then the sort of companion pieces is his blaster pistol, and I think that one as well turned out really well. It's lots of little details. You'll notice even both of them on the butt, they have a little bit of gunmetal pieces on the back ends there and on the bottom. So that was added again using the AK gunmetal, just applying that down there, and that's how you get that sort of shiny black gunmetal look there. Just on this little, you can see there's a sort of metal plate in here, so I'm just going to actually just color that in a little bit here. Get a little bit of color anyway on this area. Oh, and lots of detail on the muzzle there. Notice the little stripes and the sort of the authentic look to that pistol. And then the Darksaber. Lots. That was actually probably one of the most time-consuming pieces because there's a lot of detail work here, including the being able to have that center black stripe with the nice white, kind of shiny sort of outline. And then these little white details were a lot of work. And then, of course, the gray stripes on this black handle are quite detailed and took a fair bit of time and attention to detail with some very small tape work from this direction here. Yeah, that looks awesome. Really great. Just perfect. So the line is perfect, and then let's just grab this side, make sure we similarly got, yeah, just awesome. So I think you can see that. Let me just zoom in there. Yeah, the line's perfect on both sides. It's really, really nice. Just what we wanted there. And it has that little bit of glitter. Actually, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that or not. It is really just catch it on certain angles. Just, I mean, it's basically white, but just does have a few flecks of the big that chrome silver has a really big grains in it, and we're just picking up a few of those there. So just working on the Darksaber here a bit. Have been really working on some fairly finicky tape. Zoom up there a bit. So the way that it works, there's actually some rings of gray. So I've got the black already on the hilt here, and there are these kind of rings, as I say, of dark gray, and they actually also some stripes that come out, and you can see where those are as well, and those will need to be gray as well. So that's what I've kind of got set up here. It's all kind of, these are really fine. Very nice. That's really looking excellent. I don't know if you can see that with the stuff in the way there. And then we've got this little piece as well that comes down there. It's sure amazing how much faster it comes off than it goes on. That's the one thing that is amazing. It takes forever to put this stuff on. And then 3 seconds later, it's all off. I'm really loving that, though. It's just great. So really well worth all that effort to get those kind of exacting lines and just that look. It's pretty tricky. Extremely small, but hoping. Just a little bit more into this one. But I love the end result. I think it's pretty spectacular, and really shows well. And then the Beskar spear, again, just using, there were some pretty big divots even on this, and then just using my metal fill. Looks just great. Really can't even see those spots anymore. So all in all, really fun model, and very happy with the results. A nice looking kit, and a really nice model as usual. Bandai, it is a really great model in the sense of just all the pieces fit so well together. My only complaint is, and it's minor, is just if you are getting the silver plated version, which is, kind of, at least depending where you're at, it's kind of a pretty expensive option. You just be aware you can't finish it. You can't, you're not gonna, you're kind of hemmed in on getting rid of seams, and it's hard. There's a few little tricks I tried, and I think pretty good. But in some ways, I almost wish, and I think if I was to do this model again, I might not get this version. But that's me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this build and enjoyed the model. If you did, it'd be great if you could give me a thumbs up down below, and even leave a comment. I'd really love to see those. And even subscribe if you like this kind of content and you don't want to miss any future builds. That's a great way to do it. Oh, and if you enjoyed this one, you might want to check out, and then there's want a little bit more detail about any of these pieces that I've talked about. I do have pretty detailed videos there, so you can find all the different paint colors and materials and techniques that I used. If you're interested in that, just I think you'll see a link here at the end. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch. Take care. you.